Imagine you're making millions of dollars as a creative real estate investor. Your bills are taken care of, your retirement's paid for, your kid's college fund is paid for, everything is great. What are you gonna do with your money after that? Let's talk about it. Alright guys, this video is going to be different than any other video I've ever shot because I'm not going to be teaching you how to make money. We're going to be talking about how you can give all your money away and impact your generation. Kind of like Bill Gates or all the other old people that have millions and billions of dollars. And you included will probably someday want to impact other people and serve people at the highest level. And I know sometimes in the beginning it doesn't feel like that day will ever come, but I promise you it will, and probably a lot faster than you think, especially when you're following my strategies. Trust me, I know. In the beginning, I was broke as a joke. I was driving an old beat-up Nissan pickup truck. I was stressed out all the time. I was late on everything. I was late to my job. I was late on my bills. I was financially stressed out as you can possibly be. And I remember being at that place, and the only thing I wanted at that moment in time was to solve my personal financial problems. My lights were getting shut off. I couldn't barely afford to eat at a restaurant. I was barely making ends meet, and times were really stressful. So, that's why I got into real estate investing. I wish there was some grand vision where I was going to make all my money and I was going to give all my money away someday and help out my generation. But in the beginning, I just wanted to make money. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want to be really clear. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make a lot of money. I think you should make a lot of money. Why else would you get into real estate? All right? So one of the highest paid occupations you can ever get into. And I hope that you gamify this business. I hope you use money as a scorecard on how you're doing in the business, right? The more deals you do, the more money you make. I hope you go off and become rich and powerful. But I promise you, something will happen once you clear your debts out of the way and your bills are taken care of. I even retired my parents, was blessed and fortunate enough to be able to give back to them. I still do to this day. But something happens after you clear all that stuff out of the way. You start looking around for purpose. You start looking around for meaning. You start asking yourself better questions like, how am I going to create and leave a legacy? What happens when I'm gone? Are people going to remember me because I was, a wealthy real estate millionaire? Or are they going to remember me because how I made them feel and what I was able to do for my local community or for the world in general? And I promise you, when you get to that point where everything's cleared off, and my mentor used to always say, life is like being in an airplane, and the airplane loses cabin pressure, and that little mask drops down, and the stewardess says, put the mask on yourself first, and then help everybody else around you. That's kind of how life is. You got to be able to take care of yourself first, and clear out your money challenges so you're not stressed out and you're clear-headed and you can actually do what wealthy people do, and that's cut a check to solve problems in this world. But you got to take care of yourself first. And all of a sudden one day you wake up and you start looking around and you're like, well, what can I do? And for me, the first thing that I ever did that was charitable on any big level is I got involved with this charity called Hug It Forward. And they built bottle schools in third world countries like Guatemala. And when I first looked at it, I thought, wow, as a teacher, as somebody that loves to teach and mentor others, I always thought it would be really cool to get involved with helping kids and building schools and that kind of thing. And so this was right up my alley. And so I started writing checks to the Hug It Forward charity. And something weird happened. I wrote that first little check. The first check was only for $2,000. And I wrote that check, and it felt freaking amazing. It was the greatest feeling in the world. And I was like, whoa, that was unexpected. I actually feel good giving my money away. And then I actually got a letter back and a picture of the kids building their school in Guatemala, and they were all saying thank you for them, helping us and all this stuff, and I felt amazing. I was walking around on cloud 9 for like 2 weeks, and every time I, was sitting in traffic or stressed out or, anything negative was going on in my life, I would look at that picture of those kids and I would just instantly feel better. And that was the first time I ever really understood this idea of being able to be what I call a servant leader. And that's somebody that sets a standard, that's able to give back, that's able to, cut that check to solve real big world problems, uplift their generation, and just really, like I said, set the standard. And so I kind of started thinking to myself, well, what else can I do to give back? And so I started writing bigger checks, and it felt amazing. And we built over 50 schools in different third world countries through the Hug It Forward charity. And then I thought to myself, well, how can I help my local community out? And there's this local group of guys. They call themselves the Chandler Compadres. I'm from Chandler, Arizona. And they're called the Chandler Compadres. And they're 40 local businessmen, and they volunteer their time to raise money, and they also donate a lot of their own money to helping underprivileged kids right here in Chandler, Arizona. And so I thought to myself, that's a cool thing. It's like, you live here, you grow up here, why not try to give back here? And so I started supporting their organization, and at first I was just somebody that was writing checks, and I was writing some pretty big checks, $10,000 checks, and going to their charity events, and I would heavily support their organization. And one day they asked me, would you like to become a Chandler Compadre? And I didn't even hesitate. I was like, absolutely, I would love to do that. I want to be able to write the check, and I want to be able to volunteer my time to give back. And it was such an awesome experience so far. We've raised over $1 million. All of that money stays locally here to help underprivileged kids. We're one of the largest supporters for the Boys and Girls Club of Chandler, Arizona. And if you don't know anything about the Boys and Girls Club, they're a phenomenal organization. Been around since like the late 1800s. It was started by 3 women. And the sole purpose or mission of the Boys and Girls Club was just to get underprivileged kids off of the streets. You don't want them out doing anything negative or getting involved in gangs or anything like that. These are underprivileged kids. Get them off the streets, put them in a fun environment with lots of support, lots of love, lots of structure, and just being able to play basketball. The Chandler Compadres, we do a basketball game once per year, and this year I was able to bring my son Hudson, and it was such a cool experience to be able to teach my son a lesson about how lucky you are. You grow up around all this wealth. Dad drives a Lamborghini, and we live in this amazing, big, beautiful home in a gated community. We take the most insane, exotic vacations, and you never have a need, right? Dad solved that challenge for you in your life. But don't ever take it for granted. Look around you. Look at these underprivileged kids. They don't have a lot. And it's really important for you as you grow up to set a standard and to become a servant leader and to give back, whether it's, helping people through the holidays, during our food drives or our toy drives, helping single mothers that don't have a lot of money pay for tutoring for their kids or school clothes for their kids or enrollment into different sports programs for their kids. The Chandler Compadres continually steps up, sets the standard, and helps out our local communities. And like I said, we focus on the kids. So it was a really cool experience to be able to teach my son that lesson and just play a part in it. And I want to challenge you, all right? I know this video isn't about real estate investing, but I promise you, if you stick at it, you stay committed, you stay focused, you listen to my strategies that I'm teaching you, you will become a successful real estate investor. And eventually you will clear out all the debts and challenges and financial burden in your life. You will be able to help your friends and family out. But once you clear that out of the way, how can you write a check to solve some big world problems? What can you do to step your game up, push yourself, and really become that servant leader that you know you can be? That's my challenge for you. And whether it happens today or in the future, I want to plant that seed because I promise you there's no greater feeling in the world than being able to serve other human beings at that deep of a level. All right, I don't have anything else. What are your thoughts on this video? What are your favorite charitable organizations? Go ahead and put what you're passionate about down below in the comment section. Who knows, I might even get behind one and support it on your behalf. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, comb your hair, Sperber out.